Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Fabul Gauntlet. And tonight we have a Swiss Round 1 matchup between Th11vdan and slippery42. My name is Error72, and my co-host is Twisted Flax. How are you doing, Twisted?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
It's only been the third day of matches in this tournament. We've already seen some amazing individual performances. We've already seen some really close finishes, and I can't wait to see what these two runners will bring to the table tonight.
Absolutely. We'll be getting started very soon. Before we forget, we need to also introduce our tracker and restreamer. Our tracker tonight is Lore Master Motas, and our restreamer tonight is Dimmery.
I see we're starting out tonight with a Porum.
I consider Porum a fairly solid start. The first fight might be a little bit difficult until we get level 2 spells, but
right. He unlocks
offense is not going to be wanting, at least early.
No, absolutely. He unlocks those spells rather early and can take you through the early part of the seed, given the right partners, given the right equipment.
So I believe now would be a good time to go over the goals of the randomizer. The goal is to collect the crystal and go down and beat down Zeromus in whatever shape or form he may be. There's a twist, though, of this event. There are 5 random objectives that must be found, ranging from completing a specific event like the football defense, finding a specific character like Rydia, defeating a specific boss like Water Hag, or defeating a specific boss spot like oh my gosh, what's a good boss spot?
Where the Mist Dragon should be, like this cave.
There's only like 39 of them.
Oh, exactly. You know, they're easy to remember. Of course, we're always hoping to find at least 1 or 2 required bosses out there, because they could be anywhere, and those are always fun for the runners, because they always have to go all across the world, across the moon, across the underworld, looking for that one stupid boss location.
And again, we'll be starting very soon, and we'll get to see what the first 5 objectives are and who our partner is. So what are you hoping out of this race tonight?
I'm just hoping for an interesting, challenging seed that lets our runners just show just how strong players they are. I'm good at hard like that.
Hard, but not too hard, so nothing too trolly?
Exactly, a challenge that they can do.
And like we are off. We got a twin showing right now. We got Hallam
nice.
and Porum. Starting item was a Dragoon Spear, so that'll be a nice boon if we can find an early Cane.
Not exactly a great item to begin with, at least, as we have to find Cane. And as we watch the kids take the car out for a joyride, we get to see the first. We get to see the 5 required objectives that they'll have to complete tonight.
Drum roll, please.
We have Ribbon, Baron Castle, the Whale, White, and the Dark Games. We have 3 objectives on the moon. So finding that Darkness Crystal is going to be very important, obviously.
Absolutely.
I mean, otherwise, it's just a hunt for those imps, and that might be the most difficult thing they'll have to do tonight.
And also find the Baron Key.
Yes. Oh, yes, naturally. We see Sid and Yang having a little tete-a-tete in the inn. And nothing much in the shop. I imagine they're going to go through and loot the town first, and probably develop their their inventory is a little bit more. Where do you think they're going to go first?
I expect them to go probably loot Damsion. It seems like a very common spot. They might even raise the hovercraft while they're there. Oftentimes in these 5 objective seeds, you end up getting close to 100%ing the seed. And sure enough, we see Slippery go to Damsion.
Absolutely. And we were talking before we started about how Porb can help take you through the early seed. With Palom along as well, you've got the twin magic right off the bat, which should help out with those first few bosses.
Absolutely. I'm going to see. I expect to see a little bit of early looting, which will lead probably into a Hobbs check and see which character is located.
I would imagine that you probably want to get your first few characters under your belt very quickly, especially for places that have high will require melee attackers, since for all that Porb and Pal can do, melee is not their strong suit.
And I see that the chat is pointing out there was a curse string at Damsion after I noticed that there was a curse string in the Chocobo Forest.
Oh, wow. They're just giving away the curse rings. We're going to have a Mist Cave check here. It's a dark boss, but not the right dark boss.
And we have a Watery Pass check. Trying to get a few more items.
It's a spot that isn't normally checked in this flag set, but they're looking for more items, obviously, thinking that they need a little more strength before they can go on to their first boss.
So we mentioned the curse string, and the curse string is a very, very nice item to have. Normally, you wouldn't think that an item that reduces all of your stats by 15 isn't very good. But in this case, reducing your agility by 15 is actually very good in certain circumstances. In this game, the way the active time battle system works is a little bit wonky in comparison to most of the rest of the Final Fantasy. The agility of your team is based, and the enemies is based off of the character in the center position in this flag set. So if your center character is slow, the rest of your characters and the enemies are fast, in a very general sense.
And we see Slippery doing a Kaipo check. That item shop is quite stacked. You get some silk web, you get your life, and get stopped by the NPC on your way out. And we also saw Cecil in bed. So if they find the Sand Ruby after they've gone to Ordeals, you've got a very nice character just waiting to be picked up.
Th11vdan is immediately into the Antlion Cave.
It's another good spot to be getting some equipment, as it seems like Slippery is also going to be going to Toroya and looking at the shops, and might also do some looting inside the castle.
So Antlion Cave is the first of many potential key item locations.
Yes,
one of the easiest
one that people take on, because it's arguably the easiest boss that's holding a key item in the game. So it's probably the first stop for most runners. We see cabins and Starvales in the Toroya pub, another stacked item shop.
Absolutely. We'll probably be seeing an Antlion boss location spots very soon. The Antlion boss location has approximately 1,000 hit points, and with the ability to use Twin, should go down fairly quickly as long as it's not one of the more difficult bosses.
If it's one of the more difficult bosses, it's more fun for us to watch, of course. Slippery over now in Silver. He is just going all around the world, doing all this shopping up front.
Not a bad choice. It's sometimes difficult to find time to go item hunting later in the seed, so just get it all out of the way up front, mark down all of the important stuff, come back for it later if you can't afford it.
Absolutely. And he's also going to be hitting into Fabul. I'll be interested to see if he wants to do the Gauntlet or if he's just doing some more shopping.
And we have a boss, and it is the Mist Dragon.
Oh, well, that's a very nice one to find, since that is the only boss that by itself holds a key item place. If you go back to the Mist Village after beating him, you'll get a key item. And as a runner, that's always in the back of your mind, where's the Mist Dragon? Because that could hide progression from you.
In the specific flag set. Normally,
Yes.
Edward would actually, in Troya, in his would hold one of the key items that we seek, but in this case, it is switched onto Rydia's mother after you kill the Mist Dragon.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like Slippery has finished his rounds of the shops and is heading up Mount Hobbs, trying to get his third character.
Check this out real quick. The Mist Dragon shouldn't be any problem at all.
Not if you have the twin magic. There you go.
Well, there's Arcane.
And Val right with him. That's a rather interesting combination there.
The key item in Antlion is the Pan.
Ah, that means that if we can get to the Underworld without going to Fabul, then the dream of just doing a one-shot Fabul and getting all the key items in one go is alive for Th11vdan.
This might change his routing just a little bit if he thinks he can get by without actually going to Fabul early.
I definitely think it would be worth his while to check out the other locations on the Overworld before heading to Fabul, trying to get that Underworld access. He's going to cash in his Mist Dragon right now, it looks like, as well.
And hope that it's not the package? Or maybe hope it is the package.
You're right there, after all. And Slippery's having a little trouble now. There's Val goes right down. And Protect Ring is what Rydia's mom has on her tonight.
A very nice defensive item, so that'll make whoever he equips that with very tanky for the early game and really the rest of the game. Valvolus is down. That Dragoon Spear that we picked up right at the beginning, it did a lot of work.
Turns out that was actually a very good item to get right at the top. And looks like Th11vdan is going to be following right in Slippery's footsteps to go up Hobbs as well.
It's a very nice to get Valvolus out of the way as well and get a strong character in Kane, because Valvolus is one of the more potentially trolley bosses in the game.
No, absolutely. Anytime you can get Valvolus in a relatively easy boss spot, you're very happy. Meanwhile, Slippery's heading back down, and we'll see where he wants to head off to next. And he's just going to go right over to Antlion as well, following in Th11vdan's footsteps there.
I didn't see anything particularly notable as far as treasures go in the first pass. Gaia Hat is okay because it'll give Palom a little bit more. Is it intelligence or wisdom that's the best stat for black mages? I forget.
I always get them confused as well. I believe it's wisdom.
It's wisdom and will. That's right.
Yes.
And there's also a Tiara on Hobbs in case we find a Rydia, or it's just an excellent piece of defensive equipment for the women as well.
Right, and it looks like Th11vdan is also going to be completely looting Mount Hobbs. Sometimes this back room with the 3 treasures gets skipped by some runners, especially if you don't have access to exit to really quickly get out of the area. But I don't know about you, but sometimes I see a lot of value in this area.
have Slippery about to take on his Mist Dragon.
Would have no problem, especially with the Cane there, happening to add a little more DPS to his party.
Which is actually not considered a dragon by the game, because I don't believe the Dragoon Spear actually does extra damage to it.
False advertising, I tell you. And it looks like Th11vdan's flown over to Fabul. Maybe he just does want to just go through the Gauntlet quickly and see if that does have his or has their underground access.
To be fair, the party they have right now isn't particularly tanky. You might see it skipped more often if there had been a Sid.
That's true. There are a couple of bosses you don't want to see on those spots in Mount Ordeals that would make this party... it would be very difficult for this party to get through.
And there's a fairly decent chance that underground access is here.
And as we expected, Slippery had very little problem getting through the Mist Dragon and gets his pan.
And even though the starting package of items gives you a few tenths, this is a free heal for the beginning of the fight.
That is absolutely true. If you are running around the overworld and haven't done Fabul yet, and you want to get your heal up quickly, I mean, it is not a bad idea just to go here and do the Gauntlet.
And we're going to see what's actually at the Fabul Gauntlet. And it is Baigan.
Oh, well... It's definitely doable at this location. Only, I mean, the total is only about 1,800 hit points. I don't know how much of that is going to be in Baigan, maybe about 1,500. And the Twin Magic does avoid the wall that Baigan will throw up, so that is a plus for them.
The Comet spell avoids the wall. If they twin cast Flare, Flare will still get rejected or reflected.
Ah, very good. You're right. As we're just about to... Oh, no. He didn't throw it up.
Flare
well
also
done.
pierces wall. See,
well,
this is why they don't let me do these things.
And we'll see what the king has to give. It is going to be a pink tail. Not very exciting. I guess it is count as a key item if you want to get up to 10 key items. But other than that, we don't have adamant armors available in this seed set. So instead, you're just going to get a powerful item. That's not downplay. It will be a very powerful item, but it just won't be the game-breaking adamant armor.
Or Drain Spear.
Or Drain Spear, yes, it could be that.
But with Fabul completed, we'll see what's next. Besides a few shop checks.
Looks like that's where they're going, while Slippery himself is going to be taking on the Gauntlet as well.
You're running out of key item locations to check. You have the Baron Inn, which we have the Yang and Sid hanging out together. And then you also have Ordeals.
It'll be interesting to see where these runners will be going to next, as I can make the argument for both of those locations.
I'd probably attempt Baron Inn first, especially with Kane actually has a fair amount of defense. We've found a few bits of his Dragoon equipment. Got the shield, got the gloves. Gets you an extra character.
Looks like Th11vdan is following your advice. That's where they're going.
And Baigan is down for Slippery. he will get his pink tail.
And yeah, this Karate Man has very little HP at this slot, so now we get to see what the second boss hides. It's a lunar boss.
Plague.
Oh, it's an interesting spot because probably going to have to do your life strats to get through this because he's got, I think, 4,000 hit points. That's not going to be you can't do that in just one go with this party. Although that is a lot of damage put out.
It's gonna be close. Nope.
No. But I mean, if he can juggle his life potions in that spot, he should only take maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most cycles to get through it.
It looked like Th11vdan got caught a little bit off guard by how fast the timer was counting down there.
It can sneak up on you, especially if you have a few people who aren't clogging up the ATB. It looks like Slippery is also going to be doing the Baron in. We are pretty much tied at this point.
Is this stereo? And Th11vdan immediately starting off by making sure poor Porum takes a nap.
Well, unfortunately, that seems to be the best thing that you can do in this spot right now. See what kind of strategy Slippery can bring to the fight as well.
And almost conveniently, Quake, as it is on Th11vdan's screen, took a nap before Kane did, before count was refreshed, so then he didn't have to knock anyone else out.
Perfect. And, oh yes, Slippery's managed to get the life off on Palin just in time. And shouldn't be too much longer, as long as Viv can get another person down, maybe? Oh, doesn't look like he's going to be able to... No, he takes the reset again.
Porum is clearly too good at dodging because dodged one of Kane's attacks for no damage.
And Th11vdan has had enough of that. He's going to go over to Ordeals and try that location instead. But meanwhile, Slippery has successfully gotten through Plague and gets the Darkness Crystal, which is interesting because that must mean that the Underworld access must be on Ordeals because you are guaranteed Underworld access without having to go to the moon.
Yes, sir. See if he immediately caches that Darkness Crystal in and checks to see who's on the moon.
He's got a spot open. It certainly would not be a bad play. So the question is now, are we hoping for a hook or are we hoping for a magma key? Because I think we're always hoping for a hook.
Oh, absolutely, with Kainazo at the Rubik Conti spot.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm bad evil. I don't know if I want that.
That depends on who's on the moon.
True. We're going to get our first boss check, and it's going to be Mom Bomb. With these
throwing out the possibility of Ordeals having the imps and then the Baron key actually blocking underground access.
That's right. We're not necessarily saying that Ordeals has underground access. Ordeals could have the harp. Ordeals could have the Earth Crystal. I mean, it could still have to go someplace else to get the access, but at least we know that the progression has to lead through Ordeals.
But we might not have to go underground at all if the somehow imps leads to Baron key here at Ordeals.
True. Yes, that I didn't consider that. That is very good point. It does look like Slippery is cashing in the Darkness Crystal and presumably heading up the moon, seeing who the person waiting in the lunar castle is, and probably also check the shop up there. And it looks like Th11vdan has also survived the explosion. I was slightly worried about that based on the hit point totals that he had, but looks like he had no problems with it.
As long as he's able to take out the bombs before they start exploding on... I don't think they have enough hit points to be that much of a threat.
Oh, not after that lit too. And that should be a very quick, yes it is. Th11vdan has got through the first boss there. We get to proceed on to the second boss. Meanwhile, Slippery is going to take a look in the Hummingway shop and see if there's anything good here. It is behind a key item, so there could be, you know, your sirens, Bacchus wines, lots of good items back here.
Or nothing of note.
Or not. Sometimes there's not. It's Octomom doing the back attack on Ordeals.
Certainly shouldn't be too bad with a few lit 2s.
Definitely not at all, especially as they keep hitting, the boss will slow down more and more. I would not expect to have many problems in this location.
And also Berserk.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you're hoping for an old man on the moon, you got Tella.
We'll probably push Slippery immediately to Ordeals at this point.
Absolutely, you're carrying a Cecil, you're carrying a Tella. If you clear Ordeals, you've got two very good characters at that point. And as expected, Th11vdan has very little problems with Octomom and is going to get the key item and face the final boss of Ordeals very shortly.
Going back and saving just in case.
I mean, we haven't seen Wyvern yet, and even though it's a relatively easy boss spot, you don't want to have to redo any bosses if you find your Wyvern.
I know I've been caught off guard by this spot just a few times more times than I'd like to.
You only make once, I can tell you that much.
Right? We have a magma key.
Yeah, there's your underground, and looks interesting.
And we have Bahamut, which I believe is also not a dragon for.
What is a
dragon weakness?
I swear. This is interesting because you can probably DPS him down at this spot without having to worry about getting up a Star Veil to reflect the Mega Nuke, especially if you have Quake, Virus, and Berserk. Oh, yeah, no problems whatsoever.
I believe the spot has around 1,000 hit points, so
yeah.
After the jump did over 900 damage, you could just sneeze on him.
So now that Cecil is a paladin, do you think Th11vdan goes back and tries his luck with Plague again, or is he going to go right Underworld?
I don't know at this point. Going underground would give a couple of key item checks, give a bunch more shop checks, get... It really wouldn't surprise me to see them go underground just to try and get a little bit more power.
Absolutely. You got a few more levels on the mountain here, so if you want to take another crack at Plague, it's definitely possible. But if they just wanted to go underground, absolutely get some extra checks in.
Meanwhile, but also,
I'm sorry,
they got Virus, so Plague would go down pretty dang quickly. But it looks like they're immediately turning in this magma key.
Absolutely a possibility. And meanwhile, Slippery is taking on Mom Bomb with his full party again. Shouldn't be much of a problem here with the amount of magic that he has now.
And the shop has illusions, which allows for a self-blink casting, which can really cheese a couple of bosses.
Absolutely. If there's a boss out there that only does melee attacks, you can just throw up a couple blinks and just laugh. And as expected, Slippery's having no problem getting through the bombs. And is going to take the safety save before getting to the Octomom fight.
And down the magma key goes.
It's the most satisfying sound in the game, in my opinion. Boom, pump.
Got a berserk on Kane, or Octoman.
And you got Th11vdan throwing out those lits, and this boss will not be long for this world, I'm afraid.
I forgot that both of our runners have a pan, which is probably influencing the decision to go underground immediately, because that's
Yes.
3 key item check.
Absolutely. Th11vdan making a beeline to that Sylph Keg. They're going to just run down there, whack Yang, and then head back on up and see what you get.
And we haven't actually described where key items can potentially be in this flag set. They can be in their normal storyline locations, much like Ordeals or Baigan, but also in this flag set, key items can be at summon monster locations, so Sylph and Leviathan, Ashura, Odin, and Cave Bahamut, and they can also be in the moon boss locations with this flag set.
Yes, it's plenty of extra places you have to check. It's the Sand Ruby, which, if I remember correctly, is
Cecil.
I don't remember. See, it was yes, that's right. So you got a Paladin Cecil for doing that. That's good value there. Lord Master Motos is right in chat.
I don't know if we've gotten any equipment for Cecil yet, so Cecil might be taking a nap for a little while longer. And I'm not sure if Th11vdan has actually checked the character that's there yet. I know Slippery did all of these shop checks, but I don't know if Th11vdan did.
That's true, but I believe he's still got a spot open in his party, so they'll probably want to fill it pretty quickly, I would hope.
That's true.
But they are taking a trip down into the Fade Mart, so we get to see what's the free key item in this chest. Eventually. First the item shop.
Hopefully.
I'll be honest, I didn't get a look to see what was in the item shop, but based on how they're acting, they didn't seem very
There didn't seem to be nothing of any note. Ether 2s are okay, but pretty expensive. We have either Rubicant or Elements and a Odin.
Oh. It's still very early in the seed, so I mean, if you're hoping for a boss, you can cheese down here to get some, quick experience and the key item. That's neither of those are really ones you want to see.
No, sir. And we have a Stardust Rod, which is the best black mage weapon in the game.
And I can see that Paladin is getting that on him immediately. I do not blame Th11vdan one bit. I see Slippery is going underground as well, but I imagine he'll be going straight to the Sylph Cave as well. Oh, there's your light sword. So all of a sudden,
that Cecil just got a little bit better.
Right.
It's no Excalibur, but it'll do.
I mean, if you're just going for normal checks in the treasure chest, do this in this set of flags. That's about the best sword you're ever going to find in a chest.
Th11vdan is the first runner who has the opportunity to validate their run.
See what kind of job the dwarf has in the treasure room today.
Nothing particularly of note in the item shop.
And just walks out. Doesn't even validate the seed.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Slippery has gone to the dwarf cave and is going to take a shot at the boss here.
First boss is the Magus sisters.
This is I always find this a sneakily difficult spot for bosses, so we'll see how he deals with it.
I'm not sure Palom has Quake yet either, which would make this boss significantly easier.
It's true, because it'll go right through Cindy's wall. Meanwhile, Th11vdan...
A bonus of this spot, though, is it is very low magic power.
That is true, so you don't have to worry about getting one-shot by their magic. Th11vdan is going to go into Capo, and I'm sure they'll be very happy to see Cecil just chilling there, waiting to be picked up. Now, I believe there's only one shop, as Demarine has pointed out in chat. The only shop is in Cave Eblin, and I don't believe we've seen sirens yet. So,
Or Bacchuses.
Or Bacchuses. So we're going to have some limited choices for runners to do their grind once they're ready to start thinking about Zeromus. Oh yeah, there's all that good equipment going right onto Cecil. Going to be hitting pretty hard pretty soon.
When I mentioned low magic power, seeing Purim I forgot the Protecting was on power, which greatly reduced the magical damage he was taking.
It looks like Slippery is going to be digging into his pile of equipment here to try to get through here, and that will at least take care of Mindy.
And by magical damage, I meant elemental damage, as that was a 1300 virus.
And Th11vdan looks like we're going to go back into Baron. Just punch Plague right in his eye. And there we go. The Stardust works his job. Kane jumps down. Just got Mindy left. And should be too much more of a problem here.
Probably not a bad idea to get the team up before the next boss.
Absolutely. This is also one of the trickier things about Dwarf Castle is you've got to fight the two bosses right in a row. You don't have a chance to heal or anything. So, and everyone's going to be getting experience too, which is very nice.
And the character at Dwarf Castle is... Well, the boss first is Evil Wall.
Ooh.
And the character is One Mop.
Ah, you love to see him. Especially at this point of the seed, you've gotten through a bunch of bosses. The way that food works in this flag set is that after every boss you fight, he gets 3 of his spells and 100 hit points. So he's already very, very strong right now.
No nuke yet, but there is a quake.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a soon-to-be dead evil wall, I think.
I believe this boss location only has 3,000 hit points, so shouldn't be a threat at all.
No, and Plague does finally go down for Th11vdan, and they're about to pick up their Darkness Crystal. And yes, the wall does fall down. He's going to be able to get the key item from Luca right after what feels like the longest cutscene in the game, whenever you're playing this.
I'll be interested to see what Slippery does next, because we're out of nice locations to go, besides Moon.
Did he go down to Sylph Cave yet? I don't remember if he hit Yang with a pan yet. I know Th11vdan has already.
No, he didn't.
So that would probably be the way to go. Let's see what Luca has on the necklace. It's going to be
the Baron Key.
Baron Key. Oh, that's obviously a key indicator of where you want to head to next. Th11vdan is raised in the big whale, and I imagine they're probably also going to take a quick peek up there, see if there's anything good in the shop. We already know there isn't.
And Slippery finds sorcerer robes in the shop, as well as their first bow, so they can finally back row glitch the appropriate members of their team.
Yes, in case anyone's not familiar with the back row glitch, there are some items in the game, weapons, that do the same damage both in the back row as well as the front row. And when the programmers were making this game, they kind of forgot that when you get a back row item on you and take it off, they kind of forgot to reset that flag. So if you ever get a back row weapon on you, you will always do full damage from the back row, no matter what you equip afterwards. So it looks like Th11vdan is heading back down into the Underworld, not going to take a look at the moon just yet. We are now basically just in a boss hunt for go mode, because we have the access to all the moon locations we need. We have the Baron Key once you get through Dwarf Castle. Now we just need to find the Dark Imps.
So in this case, I would expect Slippery, after maybe finish up the free key items out of the underground, go to Baron Castle immediately. His team should be strong enough to handle it, and if imps are there, you're done. Well, except your grind and equipment
And Th11vdan has returned to Sheila, and unfortunately Sheila doesn't really have much to give today, just a Bahamut and an Adamant.
And Slippery has validated the seed for us.
Oh, I missed that. What was the job today?
The job today was zoo veterinarian.
And it does look like Slippery is heading back over to Sylph Cave to hit Yang and get the 3 key items. Makes sense.
Sheila just had an adamant for Th11vdan.
Well, considering the fact that we only have a light sword for Cecil so far, if we do find the legend sword, I mean, Excalibur would be a very nice item to have. And it does look like Th11vdan will be heading into Dwarf Castle next, which they'll be very happy that they're going to find the Baron Key.
And Fu.
And food. Let's not forget food.
And Slippery double checking Fey March as well.
So right now, if I'm not mistaken, these two racers are quite even. As they both sort of retread paths that the other has taken already. I think the only difference right now is that Th11vdan has returned to Sheila, while Slippery has not yet.
Slippery picking up their Dust Rod. Seeing that nothing important's in the shop.
In the meantime, Th11vdan is tussling with the three sisters. Has both twins down, unfortunately. See how they manage. Slippery's going to go take a peek at the bosses in the library.
And the reflected spell missed. I'm not sure whether that was magic defense or whether it somehow targeted Kane, but...
And as expected, Slippery takes a look at the bosses and pieces out.
Don't think he collected the light sword though, so...
That's true. That was in the very bottom group of chests. That could be an interesting difference. And yes, Slippery is going to go back and get rather disappointed by Sheila's haul for him. And in the meantime, those three sisters are being quite stubborn.
Hallam surviving with 4 hit points, get an extra attack off. Pour him. I can't tell my children apart.
So at this point in the game, given the items that Slippery has, I'll be very interested to see what kind of play he makes, because we're kind of out of the easy spots to check. Do you do like the lower Babel to just get the one boss done?
Slippery's first checking the boss locations for Mist Dragon and the Watery Path.
Nah, that's just Pinazza. Just don't want to see that there.
I'd say the best play at this point would be to immediately do Baron Castle, because one, that's a spot you have to do anyway as part of your objectives, but you also get the bonus chance of the Dark Imps being there as the second boss. I don't believe they were the first boss. I don't remember who gave the initial item, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Imps.
That is accurate. You know you have to go to Baron. You get another character. You get one more boss check out of the way. And that definitely is the play that looks like he's doing. In the meantime, Th11vdan has gotten Cindy down, so that's the hard part.
As long as, well, Kane or somebody doesn't get confused and wiped out the team.
And Slippery is heading down into the depths underneath the castle. Crystal helmet's not terrible. And one virus. Oh, I thought that would have taken down Sandy.
I fully expected expected HP to run out right there.
Slippery thinks twice and will take the safety save down here.
This will have the bonus of giving Fu 2 more boss kills. Hopefully to get nuked. I don't believe he's learned it yet.
I don't believe Slippery has fought any more bosses since Dwarf Castle, so I don't think he's had the chance. And Th11vdan is taking Fu instead of Sid.
With a curse string in inventory, it doesn't really matter who your anchor is. Certain characters are better for it, but the worst case scenario with this flag set, they can always return to Mysidia and pick up whoever they...
Right, and Rubicante goes down very quickly for Slippery. 1 Ice 3 will certainly do the job.
And there's Nuke. This also means that the Leviathan boss location is the element.
Yes, and let's see who's hiding behind the king today.
Not Dark Imps.
Oh, another moon boss. Hail Dim.
No Rude Awakening from Wyvern today.
No.
At least not yet.
Still hiding out there, and I can imagine with Fu throwing down nukes, this will be done very quickly. That's very quickly for you.
The Kainaza location does not have very many hit points.
4,000, I believe, is the total there, so 6,000 nuke will certainly do it. And Evil Wall goes down quickly as well. Th11vdan will be getting their Baron Key. And Rosa is in Baron Castle. And Slippery wants nothing to do with her.
Slippery deciding that the level's investment that he's thrown in the Porum is better than trying to catch Rosa up.
Can't really blame the choice. And we're going to take a look and see what kind of key item is hiding in Baron Castle as well. Oh, Th11vdan gets their Baron Key, yes. I'd be very happy to get that.
We'll see if Slippery decides to at least peek the Odin boss. And that's some value getting a tower key, making it a little bit more tempting to go down and check that location instead of Odin.
Absolutely. That's 2 more bosses to check down there, 2 more key items, and he's making the beeline right to the tower. Th11vdan outfits their Fu. Just a little movement there.
An interesting play I'd like to see made here is to just peek the 2 don't save, peek the 2 bosses, and if neither of them are Dark Imps, just to reset, or maybe just the tower boss since it'll be so quick.
Yeah, the cannon boss only has probably has no hit points. That's a very quick defeat. But if you can find the Dark Imps, you're in go mode, so it does make a little bit of sense to do that first.
And we have vanilla Dark Imps.
That is excellent.
That means we're basically in go mode.
Right. Slippery will have completed 3 of the objectives. The other 2 objectives remaining are the vanilla ribbon and the white spear, both on the moon. He's got the crystal. He can finish this off anytime he feels comfortable. But the question, of course, is, when does he feel comfortable?
With a Fusuya available with weak, grinding options are available with a multitude of grinding options are available. the team he has right now is good enough to beat the game with levels.
Absolutely. I do think, since you know you have to beat a couple more bosses on the moon, you're going to get a fully powered Fu by the end of it, because I think he only has 2 more power-ups to go, so you have to beat 2 more bosses. So you don't necessarily have to grind out more bosses for him. It might just be, when do you feel comfortable enough to go up to the giant and do a Demon Machine grind, maybe? Or do you want to, do you want to fish around for a hook to maybe Evelyn Cave has the sirens? Or do you go up to the moon and just start grinding up there?
I'm taking a third option in peeking the top of tower boss, which is a moon boss. Maybe going for 10 key items.
Right now we are on 8, I believe. So, if we can find 2 more key items, that would double the experience that Slippery would get. Ogo Pogo here.
Not exactly the most friendly boss to be seen.
We shall see. It looks like Slippery is going to stick around and keep doing it. While Th11vdan deals with their Rubicante fight again, shouldn't be much of a problem. That, goes down very quickly.
Not a whole lot of hit points at this boss, but Ogopogo has a lot of percentage HP-based attacks, as well as a percentage HP-based counter to match.
This spot could get a little sticky. I will say that. So, see how Slippery does deal with it, while Th11vdan is going to take care of Pale Dim. Yeah, 1 nuke there should do it. And it starts shaking. So I'd be very curious right now to know the mindset of our runners, because Slippery is in go mode in theory, but he knows that he hasn't really had to take many strange chances as he gets out of the Ogopogo fight. I wonder if he thinks if he's ahead right now or not.
I'm beginning to wonder if Slippery doesn't realize he's in go mode.
Oh, you're right. That is an interesting move. Maybe he's still looking for that 10 key item. Th11vdan also has rejected the advances of Rosa. Will be keeping their party intact.
They remain very happy with both of these runners. But for the moment, Slippery has round 2 with Ogopogo.
Deals with the big wave again. As Th11vdan gets their tower key, probably will be going right over to Babel as well, now that they've got the tower.
Slippery changed their strats up a little bit, has thrown a wall up on Fu, and is now reflecting spells.
That is one way to get around the counters. It does look like it's much more manageable this time around, so well done for Slippery for altering the strategy just a little bit.
A second big wave incoming.
It's
second round of big wave.
It's just the ones, not the double, so everyone still stays alive.
Th11vdan also immediately checks the tower location and finds their Dark Imp.
Again, Th11vdan being in go mode at this point, I do wonder how well they think they're doing, if they think they're behind. And Slippery gets the rat tail, completing the set. Unfortunately, we don't have a hook, so we can't turn them in.
+1 key item, though, and a chunk of experience to make it a little bit easier to grind.
That is the 9th key item, so one more key item will unlock the double experience, which will help the grind no matter where they decide to grind.
With a potential key item for leaving the place, because they have done the tower.
That is a very good point that I failed to remember, is that since if you do the cannon spot, but then don't complete the tower, you don't get the key item that the cannon spot was hiding. So, that winds up being your 10th key item. There you go. You've got your double experience all set up.
Then also at least peeking this boss up here.
And
our tower key item is the pass.
Oh, well, unfortunately, because you got to figure that they're going to do their moon boss objectives and then go right to Zeromus. That pass, unfortunately, not very valuable.
It's a nice piece of paper, but unlikely to be used considering that he's probably not coming back to Earth.
No. It'll be interesting to see where Slippery decides to go, whether it'll be to the giant or right to the moon. In the meantime, Th11vdan is taking on Ogopogo and is doing the direct magic approach that Slippery eschewed after one attempt, and unfortunately looking to be having kind of similar results.
Slippery looks like he's opting for a giant grind.
If you are comfortable with doing the D machine grind, if you have experience in that, then this is probably the quickest play. It can take some time to set up, but once you get it going, it is a ton of experience very quickly. As Th11vdan unfortunately takes wipe on that Ogopogo. We'll see if they want to take another shot at it. As Lord Master Botas points out in the chat, that the locations of those moon bosses are right next to the final save point, so it sometimes can make sense to warp fly back and use the pass if it's refight.
That's very true.
And Slippery is doing the setup for the D machine, while Th11vdan takes their second chance at Ogopogo. We'll see if they change a strategy like Slippery did. Meanwhile, maybe this could be a quick D machine here. This looks like a potential group, and Slippery is fighting it. Nope. That's always the disappointment when you find the what looks to be a potential D machine and it just ends up not being right. In the meantime, Th11vdan once again taking the direct approach on Ogopogo.
Unfortunately for Slippery, the second attempt at forcing the D machine encounter ended with not turning encounters.
Oh, it's always annoying when you do that. That's unfortunate. Oh, looks like Th11vdan threw out a Star Veil, so possibly taking the same tactic that Slippery did to bounce the spells off to avoid that blaze. Yeah. Very, very good, and that's all that they needed. So they're going to get their rat tail that unfortunately has no value right now. And we get to see what they decide to do. Whether they want to do the D machine or if they're going to do something else.
So, we found no sirens. We found no boxes. We found no hourglasses.
All I can say is that Eblin Cave Shop must be stacked like nothing else.
Perhaps.
Or it could just be the trolliest of troll season. Sorry, you don't get any items today. All that money? No, worthless.
At least there were silk whips in can't remember what that town name is. We'll just call it Sand Ruby Town for lack of a better term.
Oh, yes. Kaipo?
Yes, that one.
Oh.
Clearly do not have the world map memorized in my old age. Slippery has found his grind fight.
Ah, good for him. Good for him. He's going to have to take some full time here doing the old life glitch, and he'll be rewarded with a whole stack of experience. Meanwhile, Th11vdan drops off the tower, and we'll be getting their. I don't remember what it was. It was so unexciting. Oh, right, it was the pass. Yes. So now Th11vdan has a choice to make.
Th11vdan's thinking, what's next?
Lands outside Feymarch. Are they thinking that they might want to do the two bosses down there?
Looking like it. This is looking like a... I want to find my 10th key item before I grind. Check.
That is also very true. When you're on 9, the temptation is just looking for the 10th key item can be very strong. And if you do find it quickly, you will make up the time on your grind.
Elements might not be too bad down here. I certainly wouldn't want to fight Odin.
Not at these levels. I mean, I don't think you can put up the DPS before he does his Odin attack. I know it has a much longer name in the Japanese game, but I never pronounced it, so I'm not even going to try. But
with the curse string plus silk webs, maybe? But certainly not a fight that I really want to do. I'm expecting to see an Elements attempt before Odin.
No, I agree with you. The Elements would be the safer play, or much more viable play right now.
Although a Lit 2 plus a Lit 3 from Palom and Fu, respectively, will put out a ton of damage, and the Assure spot doesn't have that much HP.
About 23,000, I think. So, if you can get the timings right, maybe you can get away with it. Well, he's actually going to go for it first.
They're going for Odin, going all out offense. You berserk your Cecil O'Kane, and then try and get a couple lits up.
This is just so fast. Odin got 2 attacks out before anything could happen. 3 attacks. This is, yeah, so fast.
Having Fu in the middle slot didn't do any favors. 20 agility.
No, you're definitely have to get a curse ring on someone and maybe even increase the battle speed in order to get enough attacks out.
Instead, we're going to see elements.
See if we can get through here without triggering the refill after Rubicante.
The elements is really fast here too, and the Leviathan has a sky-high attack power.
And is hitting like a truck. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And loads up a save from outside Feymarch and thinking about where else to go.
I'd expect going back to the Lunar Whale. We'll see if it's a... Oh, checking Odin.
Oh, that's an interesting play. Again, if you're looking for your 10th key item, makes sense to do this spot. Odin has relatively easier than the Feymarch bosses, but still no cakewalk. Depends on what you find here.
Lower hit points, but very fast.
And I don't think we've seen too many of the free bosses yet, have we?
No Water Hag, no King and Queen Ebla.
So there's definitely a possibility that some of these otherwise difficult boss spots could have one of those free bosses.
Well, here's a free boss.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I'd say, do we have youth bells? Do we have hourglasses? I don't know if they picked up any of them.
No hourglasses, but we do have potential for stone or... Although I think I saw a stop get queued.
Oh. There you go. That's going to make this fight a lot easier. And it's good experience. Hopefully get your 10th key item.
And don't look now, but Slippery is in danger on this grind.
Oh no. You don't want to lose all this effort, all the potential experience.
Although, I think maybe they got a stop off. Because the machine's not attacking.
And obviously with the alert having been taken care of, this is where we're going to be stopping the grind. We'll see how many levels Slippery's managed to get over the last few minutes. And with one guard down, Th11vdan should be finishing off this spot pretty soon, hopefully.
The machines woke up.
And there it goes. 647,000 experience points. Not a bad day's work.
No Quake or no Nuke yet, but should be enough to make Slippery think about going up to the moon and finishing levels there, because killing the two boss locations will be enough to get Quake Kid Nuke.
Yeah, absolutely. So that should be enough to take Slippery into the end. A Barasame for Th11vdan. Not the 10th key item, unfortunately, and not even an item very useful unless they want to find a very late game edge, which I can't imagine they'll want to do.
I certainly can't see them going back to Zot or any place like that. But we'll see what they do next.
In the meantime, Slippery is taking the long way out the giant, and I have to imagine the quick trip to the lunar subterrane.
I'd guess that they'll take on the White Spear location boss first, along with being lower hit points than the ribbon spot. It's also significantly less experience, so if they get a key item out of the White Spear location, it'll be a nice windfall of experience for the ribbon fight.
That's a very good optimization to make. Meantime, Th11vdan is thinking and takes the Enterprise, not the big whale. They're going someplace else. Just a little shopping, maybe. And yeah, Slippery is making his way into subterrane. I would imagine making a beeline for the safe point and then clearing out the last 2 objectives before he can get the crystal.
Nothing in the shop for Silvara. The reward for Odin's spot was the Murasami.
While Th11vdan is still thinking, I'm guessing they don't want to do the D machine, otherwise been there. So I wonder if they're thinking, where else can I find experience or better items? They skated me for a second. I was afraid they were going to say, "Oh, I try to take a."
Let's go to Z right now.
Yeah, that would have been quite a bold call. I'm pretty sure in this flag set, sirens have to be in a shop behind a key item.
If they're in the seat at all.
Exactly, in a standard flag set. So unfortunately, the shops in Troya are not going to have sirens. Although that hasn't stopped me before from looking in the shops there in vain.
And Slippery proving me wrong by going to the ribbon spot.
On the other hand, for the ribbon spot, you do get 2 key item checks, so it's a better chance of hitting your 10th item.
That's true.
And finding Lugay and Belknap for his troubles.
I saw Th11vdan almost sold their curse string and then paused for a moment. May have forgotten they had one.
You definitely don't want to do that, yes. And see where Th11vdan ends up going next. I'll be very curious to see if they go to at this point and just try to grind out some levels there.
They are headed moon.
Now, I don't believe that they ever found a single siren, even in any of the chests. So, I mean, even a single siren on the moon isn't even in play.
I don't know if they're going for a random encounter moon grind here, or if they are looking for Cave Bahamut or the moon shop.
Sometimes it can be hard to find that moon shop in all debris upon the moon, so it can be difficult. Meanwhile, Slippery has completed the first phase of the Lugay fight and the second phase.
So there are a couple of floors to where you can get favorable encounters by turning encounters on. If you just wait for the right encounter. We'll see if Th11vdan knows about those particular floors.
Yes, and Th11vdan apparently has never come up here to meet Tella, and I will have to imagine quick exit.
Now doing King Ryu grinds up here without hourglasses is slightly dangerous, but they aren't too bad.
It can be done. It can definitely be done. As Slippery completes the ribbon room and finds a crystal sword.
And the earth crystal.
That's his 10th key item. Although I think he's probably happier about the crystal sword because that's much more useful at this point.
Except Slippery isn't the one with the Cecil.
Oh gosh, you're right. Never mind. And Th11vdan does find a behemoth. Unfortunately, stop doesn't work on them. I have tried that on several occasions as well and been very disappointed.
Behemoths are quite heavy, as
Yes.
in they are immune to most status effects.
And we've got Mylan Z at the White Spear altar. I would think, given the levels that we're at here, this shouldn't really scare Slippery too much.
So behemoths can be a little bit difficult to deal with. They tend to counter every attack you make on them. They're pretty slow themselves. They don't get very many turns themselves, but they counter, and they counter hard.
Oh, yes, and Th11vdan has seen enough of that fight.
They aren't too difficult to take down if you prepare with blinks. But can still be a little bit of a slow fight.
Slippery gets the Twin Harp and completes his last objective for the seed. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting the night.
Let's have a moment of silence for no music tonight.
And I gotta think Slippery's happy with his party right now. They're all very good levels. Except, no, I think we're one level away from Nuke, so he's going to take a quick encounter to try to get that taken care of before heading on to Z.
Might also see maybe a couple more levels on Porum because 15.9 or 16.35 hit points isn't all that. Oh wait, Kane has Dragoon Spear. We finally found a dragon enemy to use his Dragoon Spear on.
About time. Yeah, looks like taking a couple more levels. Although, if you can time out your new casts so that you can drop Z's magic power, it's definitely within the realm of possibility that you're going to stay up. But I guess that's probably a little too difficult.
Palom does have Nuke now. But certainly getting a little bit more of a safety net is not a bad idea.
Especially since he's now gotten over the 10th key item and now has double experience. And there you go. He is exiting. He is going to take the pass route.
We'll see if he decides to stop by Mysidia and find an anchor without needing the curse. I'm not sure what Sid's agility at this point would be, because he's still pretty slow even at high levels, so he could probably throw that curse string on Sid and then have Sid be a useful super slow ink.
Or he might be going to just listen to some music in the Magnus Cave. That'd be nice.
I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Ah. It looks like we're just going to go right into the pass room and hit the fight, which means that we've got about 500 sprites to choose from when Zeromus transforms. Question now is, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
And we did see a curse string thrown on the Sid, and Sid has a whopping 6 agility.
Now, I believe the magic number you want to see there is below 14.
The answer is as low as possible if it's below 28. 28 is the first agility breakpoint where Z will actually get slower. Six should be an acceptable agility for this to have most of the characters be, I believe, relative agility 1, maybe relative agility 2. But should be more than good enough for Slippery's needs.
Oh, absolutely. This looks like a very strong party. I can't imagine, barring some really bad rolls, that he's going to have too much trouble taking on Zeromus. Meanwhile, it looks like Th11vdan is doing some grinding over there. Finding a searcher.
Not doing D machines, but get some levels all the same.
I mean, experience is experience at this point. That's bottom line. And here we go. Slippery is taking on Zeromus.
The big question, besides whose butt are we going to kick tonight, is are we going to see hybrid strats or are we going to see pure mage strats? With 3 potential magic damage dealers, you might see Slippery choose to not deal very much physical damage.
Right. I mean, you've got only really Kane as the only really strong melee here, so it's possible that he just chooses straight up reflex strats.
Well, the Berserk I just queued up on Kane told the answer to that.
Right. And what do we got tonight? We have I'm gotta admit, I don't recognize that one.
I don't recognize this one either.
ActRaiser.
ActRaiser, yes.
I have not played ActRaiser in at least a decade, so that should tell you something about how old I am.
I only got past like the first level in ActRaiser the one time I played it. Didn't even get past the first sim.
Meanwhile, Th11vdan is going to continue to grind in the giant. As
Kane's doing about 2,000 damage.
Right, and Sid just broke the Star Veil, so looks like we are doing some reflects as well.
I don't know if we saw a Silk Web get thrown or not.
So unless Slippery gets really unlucky with a big bang here, I'm not seeing too much problem given this party configuration and the strategies.
And the Silk Web was used, so this first big bang should be nerfed pretty badly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely manageable. Ah, Th11vdan has found the D machine. Unfortunately, it looks like it might be a little too late. I do have to wonder if Th11vdan was able to get to the giant maybe about 10 minutes ago. They might have been able to catch up and really make this a really close race.
I'm not sure they know about the machines being susceptible to weak as well, because they're eating lots of physical encounters just by attacking.
Right. Meanwhile, the Zeromus fight seems to be still pretty well under control.
Gains continue to chug away. Black Mages throwing nukes off of Sid.
Oh, that's a direct one, I guess.
Or hard casting nuke onto.
To nerf the Big Bang, yeah. Oh, that hits the reflect.
Clearly planned.
Calculated.
Gotta love seeing the all nines nuke.
Now, with King being berserked, I have to imagine we're going to have to deal with the full hit point refill on Zeromus. Manage it just to reflect off and just do it in one group.
I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed, but this party is not wanting for damage.
Oh no, this party is loaded for bear.
Although Fu seems to be out of MP.
Did they pick up any ethers at some point? I don't remember if they ever saw ether 2. Maybe an elixir they picked up somewhere would be nice. Apparently not. Even so, they've done so much damage in the battle so far. Even with a less than, useful food, they should still be able to finish this off.
The Big Bang was not nerfed, but it did not kill either child.
Although if we do see a Meteo, things might get a little dicey. And
There's the flash.
Is that. GG to Slippery. We got the official time, the SRL time, just a moment. And it looks to be an official time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 20 seconds for slippery42. Congratulations and GG.
That is an excellent time for one of these seeds.
Oh, absolutely. I think his routing was spot on. He dealt with the challenges that were faced to him by the seed very well. I think that's a very, very good run and something that you should be proud of.
Absolutely. We'll see if the Slippery would like to come in for an interview.
Meanwhile, Th11vdan seems to have stabilized their D machine grind and trying to maybe finish it off. Nope, just getting one more up.
Steam machines are going down slowly but surely.
As long as they keep going down, that's the important thing. Get that experience. And it does look like we have Slippery in chat. GG.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you. So, how did that seed work out for you, you feel?
It was pretty good. It was a little rough around the edges. I was really hoping I could find sirens in shops because I'm not very comfortable doing D machine grinds yet. Although that's ultimately where I ended up going. I actually, while the giant cutscene was playing, I was like frantically Googling for the that map.
Well, you could have fooled us because you played that D machine grind very well, I think. Except it did look like at one point you were almost about to lose it.
Oh yeah, that so I've done one other D machine grind on any past seed, and it was like last night, I think. And I ended up like hourglassing the fight to sort of not lose it like that. And then in this one I was like, oh no, I don't even have hourglasses, but luckily Palom came through with a stop for me.
Yes. When you found the Dark Imps in their vanilla location in Tower of Babel, what were you thinking? What were you thinking at that point? Were you thinking, how can I quickly get to the moon, or were you wanted to do some more checks?
So I wanted to. I mean, I had in the back of my head like, okay, I know I can. I'm in no mode now, so I can do the moon, but I wanted to do like one more check, which is why I went to the top of the tower in the hopes of getting my key item count up to 10 so I could grind a little bit more efficiently. And I was also kind of holding out hope for maybe a hook somewhere and on the off chance that sirens were in Cave Eblin.
You know, we were thinking, considering the fact we never saw Bacchus, or we never saw sirens, or we never saw hourglasses, that cave shop must have been stacked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think also the vampires ended up being in like the one shop on the overworld I didn't check, and I was really looking for some early game offense. But luckily, I got Kane on Hobbs, and he kind of carried me through the early game.
The one set of vampires I remember was actually underground.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was in I think it was in the either
Tamara, I believe.
Tamara, yeah.
Well, overall, I have to say I'm very impressed by your play. Do you have anything else you'd like to add tonight?
Not really, just GG, and thanks to everybody behind the scenes keeping the stream running. And it was fun.
How'd you feel about finding that crystal sword, knowing that Cecil was sleeping and you had sand?
Man. That was such a taunt to me, because I think by that point I was like already invested in doing like kind of mostly reflex strats, and you know, I didn't have an easy way to sort of slingshot Cecil up because I you know, again, like setting up the D machine grind would take too long. I don't know if I had Luca key to do a door grind, but yeah, I kind of figured it'd be nice, but I don't think it's in the cards.
That's fair.
Absolutely. So, congrats once again on your first win of the Gauntlet. Good luck in the future rounds.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. We see Th11vdan is continuing their grind on the D machines.
Going at it again with just damaging it down.
Now, I do see that they did complete one grind and got a whole bunch of levels. as I see they now have a lot more hit points, so I imagine that this second grind, it'll probably go a lot better for them.
It's both easier and harder just because fire does percentage-based damage. But they're pumping out more damage themselves, so...
Absolutely. We've got the twins at about 1,300 and 1,400 hit points each, so I have to imagine they're thinking maybe 6 or 7 more levels will get them to where they need to be before they can really go back up to the moon and clear out the seed.
It certainly won't take too many more of these.
No. Unfortunately, they didn't get to their 10th item yet, so they're not getting the double experience, but still, these things are worth a whole bucket of experience each.
Poor him, surviving with 1 hit point. Never mind.
Oh, well. Oh, 99.99 on that jump, I guess, because it's dragon and air. Oh, it's air. Still.
At the very least, it's a dragon despite being a machine, while true dragons, Miss Dragon and Bahamut aren't dragons. Either way, Kane with the Dragoon Spear does a massive amount of damage to the...
Absolutely. As they heal up here, we'll see if they want to do any more. Probably if they're healing up.
Or you can just nuke the Searcher.
When in doubt, just throw a nuke on it. Another almost 200,000 experience points there.
Porum gets Cure 4. Palom gets Weak.
The levels are at 48 and 49. You gotta think that's pretty good, considering that they still have to get those 2 bosses down to get them up to that level 52, that magic number.
Let's see if there's the reset, so looking like we're probably going to get 1 more.
And I think they remembered they didn't turn on the encounters again.
So given how easily they've gotten the last couple of D machines, I believe they probably have found the chart that tells them how many encounters they need.
Yes. I think that's not a fight you cap randomly by accident. It's something you have to kind of look. Although at this point, I am curious if at this point, if you're only looking for a couple more levels, if you just take a couple steps up and see what the boss is, because those bosses also have a ton of experience points, and you're pretty much loaded at this point with strength.
Intriguing, but unfortunately, Element's location does it have the most hit points of any non-Zeromus boss location?
It does in theory, because I think it has something like 90,000 hit points. That's because it actually counts as 4 boss encounters in its vanilla state. If it's only a single boss there, I think just because of the maximum number that you can store in the game, it reduces the hit points down back to about 65,000.
Right.
But again, I do want to bring up the fact that we haven't seen that many free battles. If that ends up being the Ebling Royalty or Dark Cecil, that's a free 100,000 experience right there, I think.
Right. Or Water Hag. But
yeah.
But D machines are still a huge chunk of experience.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you can get the D machine grind up, pretty solid.
See, the chat is talking about the dragons on the moon and what you can and can't do to them. And the types of dragons.
Always about the dragons in this sea. It's what is a dragon, what isn't a dragon.
I can't remember if Wyvern's considered a dragon in the seed or not in this game.
I honestly can't remember either because it so rarely comes up.
It's not very often you end up with Artemis arrows or Dragoon spear or not usually using the dragon whip on anything worthwhile, at least spot.
No, you don't. I wonder how many life potions that Th11vdan has left. I thought I saw it down to digits, so I would imagine that not be able to do the life glitch might disincentivize them from doing this too much longer.
And perhaps purchasing more just in case the Zeromus goes bad.
Right. And that'll end that grind. Another almost 200,000 experience. And there's your Meteo and Nuke. And I think Orm is one level shy. Yes, one level shy of getting white. But I have to imagine that's good enough. I think they'll want to... Well... Maybe we just haven't killed enough dragons tonight.
I don't know. Are these actually dragons? They count as dragons, but... So, bad news. Th11vdan forgot to save.
Oh. Oh, that's terrible.
So we just lost the last fight. Double checking to see that they didn't save in a different slot, but nope.
Nope. They're going to take one more run at this.
Looks like they have a known seed they're going for. This looks looking very similar to the encounter patterns from the last few times. Which this won't work, but the next one will.
Right. Oh, right there.
And Quake to kill the beamers. Summon our first dragon.
Yep. I know there are calculators out there that will tell you just how many dragons you defeat in order to hit your preferred level. I have to imagine that at this point only about 3 or 4 at most.
You know, now throwing stops on them.
That's a smart play. I mean, it is satisfying to jump on them and just do the quad 9 damage. I mean, no matter what else you also have to say.
Unfortunately, 2 viruses isn't enough.
Oh, but that'll do it. Grabs the life glitch. Summon a second one.
And making sure the fight doesn't go very long by summoning the second one with Quake.
Not choosing to stop the this time.
So I'm not sure where else to go here. We're gonna see probably, you know, the end of the grind, at least somewhat. I assume probably once both Paolo and Porum have white and nuke.
I have to imagine that's what's holding them back from just going to the moon right now. But after that happens, sure they'll be thrilled to finally hit the moon, hit those last 2 objectives, and get this seed over with.
And get a crystal sword for his boy.
Well, that's going to be a great help for the Z fight for.
I believe they've already found Tella and rejected Tella.
See if they want to summon another one, or if they're going to call it here. Repairing. It looks like who is running out of HP for this fight?
MP2.
I meant MP, yes, thank you.
We'll see if this Quake finishes off the Searcher or not. It's probably going to answer our question.
And it does. Oh, that's more than last time. There's your white, and there's your Meteor and Nuke.
Now I expect the first thing they're going to do is save and then leave.
It's a mistake you only make once.
Without the saving part. There's plenty of opportunities to save before the next fight.
Yes. I have to imagine that they're going to make a beeline to that safe point in the moon, right outside the 2 altars that they have to clear out to get the crystal. And with again, with this party configuration, I have to imagine that this seed leaves no more challenges for them, really.
As long as they remember they have a curse string. And even if they forget they have a curse string.
I mean, yeah, even if they don't really do too much in terms of agility manipulation, I have to imagine they've got the strength of the levels, probably just roll up to Z and just smack him in the face.
Because this eventual Crystal Sword Cecil is just going to pump out so much damage.
Berserk that Cecil with Crystal Sword, and basically it's the win button. You just go to sleep. They are looking at their inventory, thinking that do they need? And they only have the 3 life potions. If things go bad, that can be a little hairy, but I still think they should be fine.
It wouldn't surprise me if they went and bought some more, though.
Definitely not. That would be a safe play.
Given they are flying around on the Earth, I would assume that they're headed to the nearest place they remembered where life potions are, which was Kaipo.
That's right. Hopefully they won't get stopped by the worst boss in the game, which is that one NPC there. Nope, they can slip right by.
No, you get out of my way!
I swear, some of these NPCs are the worst things in this game. It's just always to get in your way right when you're. It's like, no, I just need to get out of here.
Looks like there's a little bit more shopping to do.
Sure. Just want to make sure we have everything in place before they go up. Finish this off. And frankly, I'm going to be honest, I am impressed that they can remember where all these things are, because at this point, I knew there were life potions somewhere. I know there are Cure 3 somewhere. I could not tell you for the life of me where they were.
They could also be writing it down or using one of the mini trackers that have the ability to keep track of this information.
See, now that's why they're smart. That's smart. That's why they're better placed than I am.
I use one of those trackers that allows you to track the item locations, and then don't want to take the time to actually mark anything down, and then wonder at the end of the seats where the star veils.
You and me both. And apparently it has not seen Tella yet.
I was certain that at least one of them had seen Tella before. I guess they reset out at one point.
I guess. I think that if when they went up to the moon, they saw that there was not how many you had Tella as the prize here, that it would have just been quicker just to reset back to the Earth rather than to fly back.
With that, I'll just say, shrug and curse my bad memory. And down to the lunar subterrane we go.
Although, with the cursed ring, potentially taking Tella there, it's a possibility if they really wanted to. Nice, low agility anchor there.
So I believe this is likely a case of Th11vdan doesn't realize this isn't the white spear or ribbon look.
Yes, I know in the past I've had trouble which altar went with which vanilla item. I hadn't played the vanilla game in so long that I don't remember where they were. So yeah, this I believe is the
Murasame.
Oh, it's the Murasame one. Masamune one.
It's either Masamune or Murasame.
Right. I know it's an edged weapon. And you find the dolls here.
Chat is telling us this is the Murasame.
Murasame. And the Masamune would be the very last one right before you.
Yeah, Masamune's Ogopogo. Pale Dim is Murasame.
Right.
Plague is White Spear.
Well, it's unfortunately the Quake took out all the front, but not all the back. So if this Quake can't close the deal, we might see the big. No, there we go.
no bonus boss sighting.
And it's the spoon. I mean, we didn't even have an Edward this seed, or an Edge. Even if we did have an Edward, we could install, give Edward the spoon this seed set anyway.
Installing the spoon on Edward.
Yes, installing it. That's right. I'm wondering if Th11vdan just realized, wait, I didn't get the little pop-up that said, oh, conquer the altar, done. So I wonder if they're thinking that, maybe I just did the wrong one. But luckily, it didn't take them very much time to complete it.
Luckily, a very easy boss at that location with these levels.
In chat, how strong is the spoon when Edward uses it? If it's allowed by the flag set, I believe it's a weapon with 255 attack power.
And maximum accuracy.
Right, so it is extremely strong and makes Edward even somewhat slightly viable. But unfortunately, with the rules that we use in the Gauntlet here, that's a no-go. We can't whip Edward with it, so we can only throw it with Edge.
It turns Edward into a viable glass cannon, especially if he can find what little strength boosting equipment he can have. It is technically the best weapon in the game, but in the vanilla game, no one can actually equip it.
So here we are, we're saving, and I have to imagine that, yep, we're going right into the Vanilla Spear altar.
I believe this was Mylon Z?
Yes, that's correct. And again, given these levels, should be no problem. Throw Berserk on Cecil. And
Cecil still has a Holy Sword equipped, even if it's not the crystal. The lightsaber should be able to do pretty good damage.
Oh yeah, 5,000. That'll do you.
Not that this spot has very many hit points anyway. I also believe this will be their 10th key item. So they're going to get a big windfall when they do the ribbon spot.
Yes. Still getting those last levels will help the... Well, that's interesting.
So I believe that's a glitch that happens if you hit the confirm button on a very specific frame.
I think they're just showing off right now doing frame perfect tricks.
And now it's the Twin Harp, so...
Yes.
Make you vanilla Final Fantasy 4 for these amazing bugs. Or is this vanilla Final Fantasy 2?
Ooh. It's always amazing whenever speedrun finds the bugs that, given how many issues seem to ship with these games, that they even were in the first place. And Th11vdan is skipping the White Spear altar. Again, I wonder if they're just a little confused about which item is on which altar.
That was the ribbon altar they skipped.
Oh, yes. Even I'm confused.
Ooh, this is not a... It's not too bad. You have enough to cast wall, but still.
It's awkward. But you got two pretty strong melee attackers here. You throw out your, I guess, maybe quakes. You can get through it without too much difficulty.
You can also reflect nukes.
It's very true.
Because there's the Star Veil going out on Cecil.
Seems to be the strategy. Yes.
The twins can also use Twin if they really want to. Although at this point, the damage won't be particularly good, especially with Porum in the top location.
Yes. And reflecting the cures back. It's just a matter of time at this point.
I believe the twin command uses the wisdom stat of the twin in the earliest parties.
That is very good to know. That is a very nice bit of data there.
No matter which twin initiates the twin command, I believe. So ideally, if you're going to use twin, you want Palom in the ahead in the party.
Spot, I think, has around 35 or 40,000 hit points. So, again, given the damage that Th11vdan's putting out, they're not going to have any problems.
Wouldn't be surprised if this nuke takes it.
Oh, yes. Well called.
In which we're going to probably see the confused pause that this wasn't the ribbon location.
It's another Dragoon Spear. The bookend. We started with the Dragoon Spear, we're ending with one.
Well, and a crystal sword and
I guess that is a minor detail, yes, the crystal sword.
And I believe Earth Crystal.
And
I don't know if are they out of cabins?
I thought they bought more when they went around. Maybe they are just taking the heal. We're heading back down.
Are we headed using the pass and going to get a rude awakening? We don't have the crystal.
If he thinks he's completed the last. Oh yeah, that would be unfortunate.
We're about to find out.
Yes, at the very least, I hope he saves.
This won't be a very time-consuming mistake, but
no.
Although all the pauses make me believe that they have realized they don't have it. And
well,
back to the moon we go.
One thing that they have added in this book is the track menu. You can actually go into the menu and list all objectives and which ones you haven't completed yet. Look at Bahamut now.
Don't worry, we get to travel around the world with them together.
Well, we
can only hope for music at this point.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Maybe if we extra generous, we'll get to hear what the cast for us.
Although I think they probably realized that the Vanilla Ribbon location is not the twin heart.
Or maybe again, this is just a couple more levels. Maybe he still does think that gold this is not what you'd want right now, I think.
I mean, this isn't a particularly difficult spot for Golbez. I believe Golbez is relatively fast here, but I can't remember if the magic power is actually a little bit lower in this.
I think it is. I think Bahamut just has very strong attack power. I don't think the magic power is there, which will help a little bit.
Actually, can't remember how hard vanilla Bahamut Mega Nude kits.
We're about to find out.
Still, Cecil at the very least, there's a decent chance that Cecil has a bit of Dragoon gear on and has enough HP to tank a hit anyway, and a 770 virus is nothing to be particularly scared.
No, it must be a very low magic location. And on the flip side, though, reflected damage is going to be that much as well. And Babel, again, has about 35 or 40,000 hit points, so... Although, if your nuke's doing 9,300, it'll be quick.
I also believe Golbez has a weakness to Holy, so this lightsaber is going to do a fair amount of damage.
I also believe Golbez has a fire weakness as well.
I know in some of the remakes he does a barrier shift, but it might be fire weakness vanilla.
And that'll clear that up.
The worst thing they could possibly see here is the legend.
Ooh, that might incentivize them to go get the... No, it's just Leviathan. Yeah, if they got the Legend Sword, that might have incentivized them to go grab the Excalibur, and when there's a perfectly good Crystal Sword.
So I'm wondering where they'll take us next on the world tour.
Exactly. Normally, I would be trying to guess where they'd be going, but they have surprised me so far.
They have to know it's on the moon. I just wonder if we're going to see the Wyvern spot or whether we're going to see the D-Lunar spot.
Right. Look at those levels. That is a thing of beauty.
And they're going to get a nice set of 200,000 when they do the ribbon look. Actually, probably less because Dr. Lugay doesn't do full experience, which I believe was the ribbon.
And they're taking that walk one more time. It looks like they might be thinking about going to that Wyvern spot, trying to remember where that's located. Because it's off a hidden passage. I see them
or you just get turned around like, a lot of runners do.
Oh, absolutely. That's also very much possible.
And the moment of truth is here. Well, almost here. That tells me they're looking for Wyvern.
Yes, that's... Ooh. Well, they found it. Now,
Go check the Crystal Sword location.
Yeah. It could just be a possibility that, they know that, they've seen the dot done already, and they're just saying, hey, I'm just going to go around and just clear out the seed fully. Get the experience and Keep playing.
And we have a Vanilla Wyvern.
And completely
Wow.
missed Cecil. That is.
The one spot where Wyvern won't just completely one-shot you with Mega Nuke, although I'm kind
No.
of surprised it did so much damage to Fu.
Oh, this should be pretty quick still, because again, Wyvern does not have much hit points. Even if this location is like it's 25,000. Yeah, that'll do it.
In another big windfall of experience.
And Zeus Gauntlet is a very nice pickup.
Not the worst thing to find.
I mean, a Zeus Gauntleted Crystal Sword Cecil. That's.
Yep, you still need to conquer the Vanilla Ribbon Room.
Well, luckily for Th11vdan, I think that's the only one that they haven't done yet.
I believe it's the only one that's left.
So I have to imagine that they are going through it again in their head, thinking about what's on the moon and realizing that there's one boss left. And go right there. Yep. Looks like be heading that way. And we'll take out Luge, grab that crystal sword, and finally have final date with Z.
Which it'll be another surprise for me because I actually forgot what the Z sprite was.
It was that thing from ActRaiser, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that one.
That
I don't remember its name.
It was ActRaiser Muss.
Here's the Master Mus.
Tanzra, that's the name I was thinking of before. That sounds like a name. And again, once again, they're for this world tour, for all he's done, he's gotten so many levels now that this should be very quick.
Right.
Yeah, there goes Lugai. And we'll see if that might just explode. Yeah.
Balnap had a fair amount of hit points left.
Right.
But still shouldn't be any problem.
No, if they don't want to bother healing Cecil, the four of them should still be able to take off Dr. Lugai very quickly.
Although they might be slightly sad Cecil's going to miss out on getting 1 or 2 more levels after they get this crystal sword.
True. But I think it seriously would not surprise me with the sword if he was just doing quad 9s to Zeromus just as is.
Oh, it won't be nearly that high.
I've had
even with the Cecil at his best with adamant and stuff, it's only like 6,000 per hit. Only 6,000.
Only 6,000, we say, yes. And there we go. And I'm sure Th11vdan is just breathing a sigh of relief that finally they got what they needed. hand.
so happy they have it. They're not even checking the chest.
Oh. Oh. Poor Th11vdan. On the other hand, it's not like he needed the crystals, to be honest. He's doing they're doing quite enough damage. Right?
They should be fine without it.
A little last bit of menuing. Just to be increasing the battle speed just a little, just to be on the safe side. And make that trek.
Down the long and winding path.
Yes. Now we saw Slippery using hybrid strength. With Zeromus, I have to imagine Th11vdan is going to be doing pretty much the same tactics given the party configuration.
We'll see when they get there.
Yep.
See if they remember they have a curse string or know about the curse string. Because right now, I believe... Is it Palom or... No curse string.
No curse string. I believe it's Fu in the center.
Either way, being level 60 shouldn't be too bad.
Right. I gotta
but
think.
Still,
even...
it's this Zeromus is going to be really fast.
Yes. That is slightly unfortunate. And there's the crystal to flip Zeromus. And we'll see what kind of damage output Th11vdan will be able to manage with the very high level character. Throwing out a silk web as well.
That'll put the sting off of a little bit of Zeromus' speed.
Absolutely. And we'll draw the nuke. Question in chat, is the center character relevant when Cecil's in the party? It is in the vanilla game, but the way that the randomizer set up flag sets is that it's always based on whoever the center character is. Or if not the center character, at least the character in the highest priority based on how they judge priority.
This flag set makes Cecil a much better character than normal, just because of that. The flag that basically is called agility agnostic, which makes it to where the centermost position is the character whose agility it works off of.
And we see that Big Bang having been nerfed by the nuke, not doing too much damage there. Easily healed through.
And we do see the hybrid strats. I don't know if we've seen the Berserk get thrown out yet, so we might be seeing full mage strats.
Well, especially because I think Th11vdan threw their walls on Cecil and Kane, yes. So without the Bacchus available, they won't be able to Berserk them anyway.
And now the bad news is that we've already seen another shake from Zeromus, so we're going to see an unnerfed Big Bang, and I'm not liking the hit points of the character.
Yeah, throw out those Cure 3 items that they have, but we'll manage that.
There's a slight chance Porum survives this. Oh!
Ooh.
Now, whether she survives long enough to get her next spell off is a different question. Oh, there it is.
I think that's to... Yeah, okay, that's to everyone. Well, that's going to be a challenge. I choose the life. I suppose just using Kane and Cecil is more for items than for damage here.
Yeah, this is pure mage strats here.
Right, because I'm guessing Th11vdan wants to kill Zeromus before getting the HP refill, only doing the first 61,000 hit points of damage.
We do see an extra silk web going out. Unfortunately, the counter nuke goes on Porum, which was throwing out a Cure 4.
Yes. On the plus side, since we did have that black hole came down, which we don't have to worry about items. And yes, reflecting those nukes back. 3740, pretty decent damage still.
Welcome back to life, Porum. Here's a big bang.
Ooh. Problem is, if with the mage strats, if you can't keep your mages upright, things are difficult. But luckily, they still have a ton of healing items available. And unluckily, they just have their own viruses on the mages as soon as they get back up.
That does tell us we're still in phase 1.
Yes.
But I don't know if there's any... I don't see any elixirs or anything, so Fu is now relegated to item bot.
Right. Ooh. It's kind of, unfortunately, the problem with Fu is that if you don't find, like, Soma drops, it kind of runs out of MP a little too quickly. Looks like we are getting everyone back up at least. See if they can survive this next big bang.
There's another one coming very soon.
Yes. Here it is. Ooh.
Ooh.
That was unlucky. Fortunately, this is not looking very good at this point.
And there's another silk web being thrown out.
Right, but that's...
I believe that Th11vdan believes that black hole removes slow, which I don't believe is the case.
No. Either that or he's just trying to like nerf big bangs any way you can think of. Everyone back up. Don't know if they're gonna have enough time to heal everyone before the big bang comes out.
This Cure 4 should go off in time.
Yeah, it does. Very good.
Got another big bang coming in.
Ooh.
Lost Porum before.
Let's keep the nuke column up, and does keep the wall up so you can do that nuke there. It's a nice amount of damage. I mean, it might just be a situation where can Th11vdan keep their items going. I mean, it seems like this might work as long as they have enough items and they have enough time. For another Star Veil again. And that's...
There goes Kane. To another counter nuke.
I'm gonna throw a Star Veil up on Fu and bounce another spell off him. I believe that'll do it. No, get it off! No, that's gonna do it, I'm afraid. Ah, valiant attempt. I wonder if he realizes that his agility's not great there. Yeah. So we'll try it again with Porum in the middle. Takes the long trek back once again.
So, did I read that Porum's agility was 24? Or did I misread it?
I would believe that at this point, yes.
Because unfortunately, putting Porum instead of Fu in the middle actually makes things a little worse.
Ah.
Because you need 28 for the breakpoint, and the closer to 20 to 27 is not great.
Alas no.
It's honestly not going to make very much of a difference in the agility, if any, as far as relative agility goes, but unfortunately, Th11vdan's not going to see any benefit from.
It's a case of the mindset being correct, but unfortunately the execution possibly not being right on target.
At the very least, moving Porum in the middle actually made Kane a little bit faster than Cecil, because Cecil actually got the crystal off first last time.
Yes. We'll see Th11vdan making a second run at Zeromus. Hopefully this will go a little bit better. Throws out the Silk Web again. Or miss.
Fortunately, that Silk Web was just a hair too early.
They did it on the right, not the second.
Right.
Okay, Fu survives on that nuke. And doing an early Cure 3, I see he's conserving the MP there.
Right. Can see no attacks coming out from Cecil or Kane, so going back to the full reflex strat.
I see a white and a nuke queued up. And the Dwarf was successful, so without any problems.
Have battle medics Kane and Cecil.
That's a very nice nuke there.
I believe Zeromus has 61,000 hit points.
Yes, 61,000 hit points before the first refill. That obviously Th11vdan is hoping that they can avoid. And see Fu is joining in on the fun here.
So they're at around 18,000.
I think that's about 24, 25.
25,000 or so.
There's some excellent damage coming out there. It's about halfway point.
Right, 33,000.
I mean, Z is behaving much nicer this round.
Maybe I was wrong. Agility's clearly better.
Something, it must have been a different number because they're getting so many attacks out here.
I believe that's about 44,000.
About 2/3 of the way there. Here comes another big bang.
If both Palom and Porum survive this, Z may go down to the...
And everyone stays up. I think we're only maybe about 2 spells away here.
We're likely going to see a black hole here very soon.
Right on the edge.
I believe we're about 5,000 away.
Right, one more spell should do it. So, matter of keeping everyone up. Yeah, there's your black hole.
Well, one spell that's not being cast on Cecil that doesn't have a Star Veil anymore.
Right. Ah. There's a silk web to bait out the nuke. Right onto Forum. Got another Star Veil coming up. 40 MP.
This is the you're going down or bust
Yes.
spellcast.
The old Ice 3. And that'll do it. GG's to Th11vdan, leading the race. They had some issues with the grind. They were pretty much playing slippery neck and neck for about the first hour or so. Once they got once they were in no mode, once they knew where everything was, they needed to do the grind, and unfortunately, they had some problems with that. But still, a final SRL time of 2:35.22 for Th11vdan. GG to them.
GG. We'll see if they want to come in for an interview.
As they're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you for everyone watching. This has been the first Swiss round of the Fabul Gauntlet. This is going to be a tournament that's going to be running for the next probably 2 months. We've got 4 more weeks of Swiss rounds for getting to a tiebreaker round and getting to the final 32, who will be going into a bracket and eventually getting down to just the one winner. And races are going to be continuing on this channel. They're going to be continuing on Randomania, on RPG Limit Break, pretty much every day for the next couple months.
That's right. More races coming tomorrow. I believe this was the last race of the night.
Yes, I think we're scheduling a full set of races starting again tomorrow around 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you liked what you saw here, please come back tomorrow, see more. If you like what you saw and you want to learn how to play the game, learn just come to the Discord channel. Hope you give our followers, our racers, a follow. And thank you again to Demarine for the restreaming, for Lord Master Motos for doing our tracking tonight. And we
have Th11vdan. GG.
Oh, hello.
GG. Sorry, we're not getting any audio now. I can see you're talking, but I can't hear anything.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Hey, thanks. It was a little rough near the end.
Yes, it appeared you had a where you realized that you needed to get some levels, and then it seemed you had a couple issues.
Oh man, so I was talking about this a little bit in the IRC before we started. I haven't done a run of this game since the last tournament.
Oh wow!
So it's been a little while because work and school and stuff got in the way.
No, sure, but for someone who hasn't played that amount of time, that was still very impressive.
Yeah, I felt good about it. The first half was amazing. I was blown through it. I was like, oh, easy, got it, done. And then I realized I couldn't find any sirens anywhere. And I was like, wait, I don't remember how to grind without those. Because the last one, of course, had those included, and that was pretty simple. So I'm sure you guys kind of saw me wandering around there for about 20 minutes. I was like, how do I grind without this? And I finally remembered, oh yeah, giant. I can go there and do this. It's like, okay, great. So I pulled up my little guide I made for that, and unfortunately, I almost never do that grind, so I didn't know how long I was supposed to be doing it to get the levels I needed. I didn't have 10 key items, so I was earning half XP. There was one point, I don't know if you guys noticed, that I did a grind, got like 6 levels, and then accidentally reset before saving.
So, yes, that's always unfortunate when that happens.
So the one big thing about the D machine grind that you may not have been aware of is that D machines are actually vulnerable to weak, which will 1 weak cast brings them down to single-digit HP.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that'll be good for next race. Definitely would have sped the process up too. But yeah, I mean, that was the big first obstacle in there, is just I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it efficiently. I just wasn't used to it. And after that, sorry, go ahead.
I have a little bit more bad news for you.
Yeah.
After you took us on the Moon World Tour, which was highly entertaining, one of the 2 chests you skipped in the ribbon location had a crystal sword.
Yeah, I actually PM'd Slippery once I was done. I was like, hey, GG man, it was super awesome. He's like, hey, if you opened one of those chests, you would have got a crystal sword. I was like, oh man. As soon as I finished it, because I forgot where ribbon was. Because once I got there, I was like, I think it's on the moon. I don't know where. I think these 2 boxes are swords, so I'm going to leave them alone. But yeah, I was like, okay, whatever, I got the thing. Who cares what's in the chest? I'm just going to go and fight because whatever, I need to finish this. But yeah, it was very fun to hear that directly afterwards, that fight could have been a lot easier had I just opened those 2 chests that were about 3 feet in front of me.
I mean, it's easy to think that it's like, well, I'm not completely sure about the vanilla locations here, and it's like, oh, Edge gets 2 weapons. One of them's the Masumi, one of them's the Murasame, so the ribbon is clearly one of the other locations.
Yeah, and I was like, there's 2 chests in this room, and I know both those are on the moon, so they're probably in the chests. My Z fight didn't go as bad as I thought it would. I messed up the reflect strats on the first try, but I got it on the second one, and I was like, oh, it's a lot quicker than I was anticipating, given the rest of that second half.
You were putting on a whole lot of damage with those. We were counting it down in comms hit points left, and we all knew that, that last go was you were so close. You could do it as long as he didn't throw out that last big bang.
Yeah, the thing they were just coming out too quick, and I didn't have enough time because I kept losing everyone after the big bang. I couldn't get anything in there to do damage or to nerf it, so I just kept losing everyone the next one. So that first one was trash. I kind of should have reset a bit earlier for it, but I was like, I'm determined maybe I'll get lucky and I'll get close enough. I barely got lucky on the second try though, with that ice 3 coming in clutch.
Yeah, I saw that Fu only had 40 MP left. I was like, so close, but luckily the ice 3 was just enough.
Yeah, this is barely enough because I was debating. I was like, I don't know if I should do just reflect or if I should do hybrid, but I was like, my weapons for my other guys are terrible. If I do hybrid, I'll just get a reset and I'll just make this much more difficult for me than it has to be. But yeah, overall it was fun, and my goal, if I didn't win, was to try and get under 3 hours, preferably about 2:30, and I was a couple minutes over that, but close enough. But yeah, I mean, after, I don't know, maybe 5-6 months of not even touching this game, I'm surprised I did as decently as I did. So,
well, the good news is you've got 4 more games, Swiss games in this format, so now that you've shaken off the rust, you'll be all set for next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks
Thank
for
you
the
very
run.
much.
Have a good one.
You too.
So I believe that is it for the night. That's it for us. And I'm ready to get some sleep because I got work in the morning.
You and me both. Thanks for doing this for me. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So tomorrow on the Free Enterprise family of networks at 8 o'clock Eastern on Randomania 2, we have a match between Crimson Avix and Moonblaze Wolf. At 9 o'clock Eastern on RPG Limit Break, we have a match between our own Restreamer Dimmerine and Invenerable. And finally, last but not least, on the Free Enterprise channel at 10 o'clock Eastern, we have Count Zero and Dragus Cloud. So feel free to catch any and all of those races tomorrow. Amongst another full slate of other games that you'll be able to catch with various other multi-streams, there is a total of, I believe, 8 matches scheduled for tomorrow.
A full schedule of fun.
So anything else you would like to add, Twisted?
Well, no, not really. It's a lot of fun to watch you 2 runners deal with this seed, and thank you very much for helping me out tonight. Everyone, Error, Rotos, Demarine, all 3 of you have been great.
And thank you very much for keeping me straight. I believe we are signing off.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.
Catch you next time.